Cygnus Instruments, based in Dorchester, Dorset, manufacture ultrasonic thickness gauges. The company had implemented an MRP system in 2011. However, through a process mapping exercise, they realised that it was hampering their business growth. There were also some major flaws in the system which caused staff to have to double check and correct mistakes.
We realised that it was that inefficiency that was holding us back from being able to actually process and dispatch more orders in any one given month, which was the main breaking point in the end.
Cygnus did not want a repeat of the implementation and go-live experience of the previous system, with many customization tasks falling to them, straining internal resources. Also, despite assurances beforehand, these were unsupported in later releases.
We were assured that they would be supported, and that when it came to it, they weren't. So quite soon we had to cut loose and work with a static system that didn't receive any updates or bug fixes.
Wayne Brown, Operations Director, had previous experience of 123insight at another company. He joined Cygnus shortly before the previous system was implemented and recommended they reconsider.
I almost couldn't get my head around it. It was so clean and so simple and so quick. But we'd made our choice and we had to go with it. But when sort of 7 years had passed or whatever, and we realised that it was really now holding back our growth, the old system we had, that is, it was a no-brainer to look first at 123. We compared it with other systems, and we also compared it with upgrading the system that we were using because it had got to the static point where we weren't being supported. 123 just came out on top in every possible way.
The evaluation workshop approach worked well for Cygnus, with staff compiling a long list of questions in advance.
We had printed out on an A3 portrait all of our questions. Could even have been both sides, but it was at least that, normal size. And each and every single one was satisfied, not only answered, but shown. They demonstrated to us at that evaluation workshop.
Cygnus made the decision to select 123insight, allocating key staff from each department for the project and sent them on 123insight training. Given the company's previous experience of paying for a system before truly knowing if it would work for them, Lulu liked the fact that 123insight's training was offered under no obligation.
The model where you do the training up front before the decision point of whether to go with the system or not, it means you're making a really, really well-informed decision.
The company initially set themselves an implementation period of 6 months, but the team extended this to 10 months. Wayne in particular knew that they would have to do some significant data cleansing before migration could begin. After training was completed, an implementation day was scheduled on site, where 123insight staff worked with an implementation team formed within Cygnus to run through the various steps. Lulu found the day extremely useful in helping to allocate tasks, with the 123insight implementation mentor providing guidance.
The schedule of tasks, unbelievably helpful. Just all of those things that obviously in 123's experience, that's what you need to do. We've never had anything like that before when we were implementing the previous system. It was all so spot on. Quite a few of the data issues where we needed to restructure our data, all of that surfaced during the implementation day, and Craig very deftly just sort of added those in as additional tasks, more like sub-projects, but they got put in. Everyone agreed the very reasonable timeframes, and ownership was allocated, mostly volunteered for, task by task. It then just formed the backbone for the whole implementation project.
A key difference with 123insight is that Cygnus was no longer reliant on the provider or their own internal development resources. Cygnus was able to take responsibility for the implementation, yet still had assistance available when they needed it, which Lulu found reassuring.
And that was amazing for us. To be able to take ownership of all of those settings was what we needed, particularly after our previous experience. That was part of us taking ownership, and we really liked the way that 123's support didn't do things for us. The support team always would show us how to do things, and it's that's really empowering.
The company set a target go-live date across all departments of January 2019, allowing for a longer than usual shutdown over the Christmas period to handle final data transfer. Given their previous experience, Lulu was apprehensive but was surprised by the reality of the go-live experience.
During that last week prior to Christmas, when we were moving across all the dynamic data, being sales or open sales orders, purchase orders, etc., I realised that about half the company had basically decided to stop updating the old system, and they were doing it purely in 123, and we had effectively already gone live in about half of the company, as much of the business as we could. I just spoke to Wayne and said, this is the stealthiest go live I think ever. And we were running. We came back after Christmas and the New Year, and no one batted an eyelid. And Wayne was looking round, and he was wondering where the queue of people were. And again, we were still pinching ourselves a week later, 2 weeks later, 4 weeks later, and it was so smooth. It was wonderful.
Immediately the company saw benefits. Dispatch previously relied on 2 people, but this was now comfortably handled by 1, with the other free to cover other areas. Key performance indicator data that was previously non-existent is now immediately available. Staff are now also able to work easily across different disciplines, allowing a drastic change across the business.
This kind of multi-skilling and flexibility has in fact enabled us to move an entire technical function out from our design department and into operations, and that has made an enormous difference to the business, where our design engineers now are more focused on product development.
Cygnus delivers on tight lead times to customers by building to stock, and 123insight's batch control and general ease of use has reduced errors and bottlenecks.
There were stock inaccuracies. We didn't have as good batch control. The previous system used to force at sales order stage our sales team to have to select a particular version or issue of the parts that they wanted to ship, and they don't know what revision or issue a part is at. We used to get quite a lot of errors due to that, and they were very difficult to undo as well in the old system. So we don't get any of those mistakes anymore, and we've got much better batch control.
Cygnus also opted for 123insight CRM Plus, which Lulu noted is already helping their sales and marketing activities.
We're a lot more organised about our follow-up activities, and the notes are better for each contact within each customer record, and also we find really useful the sort of keeping key notes in the sort of header page for each customer record, so everybody knows really key aspects about that customer. It might have something to do with a special discount arrangement or something like that. The data that we're getting out for marketing is an enormous improvement, really massive, and we're not having to fill in separate spreadsheets on the side to get our sales inquiry data across to marketing. It's all part of the normal processing. It's really nice.
A further commercial and environmental benefit has been that the sales support manager has been able to consolidate both inbound and outbound deliveries with just one courier.
He has set up in our settings and how we collect our data in 123 the ability to track which couriers we are shipping with, the value and the quantity, and he's been able to use that to negotiate better rates. We're about to consolidate the goods received through that same courier as well, so it's going to be our one driver from this particular courier visiting us probably once a day.
Traceability is paramount to a company that holds ISO 9001, ATEX and CSA certifications. Lulu noted that finding traceability information on certain version changes of firmware for a customer that previously could take 2 days is now done in 60 seconds. Support is an important factor for any MRP system, and Cygnus falls well within 123insight's statistic of 1 call to the help desk per month.
Always answered, and they always manage our expectations. Normally they can answer it straight away. If it's something to do with the system, they actually show us, so we keep that ownership and understanding of how 123 works.
There was no comparison to the support of their previous system.
Oh my god, I mean, seriously, we wouldn't get an answer. No one would contact us. We would be waiting weeks, even in spite of chasing. It was awful. It was ridiculous.
Cygnus had implemented Sage before going live with 123insight and selected Accounts Gateway to handle data exchange between the two. The visibility of accounts data, such as credit limits within 123insight, provided unexpected knock-on benefits.
Overall, our credit control has improved dramatically. Everyone can see everything, they're communicating a lot better, everything's really tightened up, credit control is running a lot better, and it's had a massive positive impact on our cash and cash flow. Gateway has given our bookkeeper a lot of time back as well.
Lulu concluded that although there have been tangible and visible benefits, it's the overall morale change with staff that has made a significant impact on overall performance.
It's not about the people we didn't need to recruit in this year of growth. It's also helped us with that growth. The greater visibility on the data that everybody has made a really big impact. Everyone's pushing because they can see the progress that we're making, and it's much more fulfilling for everyone. So 123 as a system, because of that visibility that we gain through it, is driving everyone forward just to push a bit more in every area, and that is having a tangible impact on our turnover, and I would say therefore 123 is easily paid for itself within much less than a year. Gut feel, I don't know, half a year.